Hey everybody, this is Mr. Piercy, and after grading some of the quizzes, I've noticed that there's a clear misunderstanding on what we're doing on some of the problems associated with this quiz. Forgive the overhead announcements, they're doing testing on the PA system here, but I want to take a look particularly at questions 1 and 2 on the quiz, where I'm asking you to classify it by its sides and by its angles to see whether it is a right triangle or not. So first, let's see. The instructions that I gave you said that if you tell me if it's isosceles, scalene, or equilateral, you have to justify that by telling me what the lengths of each sides are. And without that, I wasn't going to accept your answer. So here, we're going to use the distance formula, which I already have written on the top of the screen. So we're going to start off by finding what is the length of AB. And let me see if I can, oh, it's not going to work for me here, but I wanted to try and see if I could decrease the width of my pen. So using the distance formula here, I'm going to say the distance from A to B, in this case, the difference of the x's, will be -5 minus 0 squared plus the y's, which would be 0 minus 6 squared. And when you type that into your calculator here, actually I'm not even going to worry about a calculator. -5 minus 0 is -5 squared plus -6 squared, which will give me 25 plus 36, which is the square root of 61. So there's one side, and I'm not even worried about graphing it. This is what I expect you to be able to show me if you're going to tell me something is isosceles, scalene, or equilateral. You have to be able to tell me what are the lengths of the sides. So now let's move on to the next one, BC. In this case, when I say BC, now I'm going to say 0 minus 5 squared plus 6 minus 0 squared, and you're going to see really quickly that we're using overall the same absolute value numbers, so -5 here again. So I should wind up with something that was the same length as AB, so 6 minus 0 is 6. So this gives me 25 plus 36, which gives me the square root of, square root of 61 again. So we have two sides that are the same length. So it's a very least isosceles. Now we need to determine is it equilateral or not. So now we're going to find the length of CA, and we'll say here from C to A we're going to say 5 minus 0, oops, not 5 minus 0, nope, took out a little too much there. Lower my eraser. We're going to say 5 minus -5, so that's the same thing as saying 5 plus 5 squared plus 0 minus 0 squared. So here we're going to get 10 squared, which is square root of 100, which is a 10. So because I have two sides that are the same length, here now I can claim that this is isosceles, but not equilateral. Now I'm going to move on and see what are the values of the slopes. So now if I'm going to see is it a right triangle or not, I'm going to see, do I have slopes that give me a right angle? So here I'm going to say, what is the slope of segment AB? Using the formula for slope, I'm going to say 6 minus 0 over 0 minus -5, so that's plus 5. So here I get a slope of 6 over 5. Now I'm going to find the slope of BC, which would give me 0 minus 6 over 5 minus 0, which would be a -6 over 5, over 5. And then I'm going to say the slope of CA will be 0 minus 0 over 5 plus a 5, which is 0 over a 10, which is a slope of 0. 6 over 5 and negative 6 over 5 are not opposite reciprocals. Therefore, I can say this is not a right triangle. This is the work that I'm expecting you to show me anytime I'm giving you the coordinates and asking you to classify something by its sides and by its angles. So if you're going to do the makeup questions, this is the work I expect to see for every problem that asks you to do this. If you have any questions, you need to let me know. But until next time, guys, I hope this clears up some misunderstandings. So we'll talk to you later, okay?